The playground was loud that afternoon, kids everywhere, laughter bouncing off the brick walls of Jefferson Elementary. But in the center of it all, near the monkey bars, a circle had formed, the kind of circle that meant trouble, and in the middle of it stood Emma Carter, 8 years old, fists clenched, tears streaming down her face. "You're a liar," the boy's voice cut through the noise. "Your mom's not a Navy SEAL. Girls can't be SEALs." The other kids laughed. Some pointed. Emma's face burned red, but she didn't move. She'd heard it before. Every time she mentioned her mom, every single time, her teacher, Mrs. Robertson, pushed through the crowd. "What's going on here?" But even as she asked, there was something in her eyes, doubt. The same doubt Emma saw everywhere, because her mom didn't look like what people expected. She was quiet, kept to herself. Picked Emma up in regular clothes, not a uniform, never talked about her work. And in this small town in North Carolina where everyone knew everyone, that silence made people suspicious, made them whisper, made them assume. "Emma says her mom's a Navy SEAL," the boy said, smirking. "But that's impossible, right, Mrs. Robertson?" The teacher hesitated, just for a second, but Emma saw it, that flicker of disbelief, and it crushed something inside her chest. Mrs. Robertson cleared her throat. "Emma, let's talk inside." But Emma didn't want to talk, she wanted to scream. She wanted proof. She wanted her mom to show up and make everyone see. But her mom had rules. Never talk about the work, never draw attention, never break operational security. So Emma stayed silent, just like her mom taught her. At night, Emma sat at the kitchen table, pushing her dinner around her plate. Her mom, Sarah Carter, sat across from her, still in her plain clothes, jeans, a faded blue t-shirt, hair pulled back, simple, nothing special, nothing that screamed warrior. "Rough day?" Sarah asked quietly. Emma didn't look up. "They called me a liar again." Sarah's jaw tightened, just barely, but she said nothing. She never did. That was the hardest part. Other kids had parents who showed up to career day in uniforms, who talked about their jobs, who made their kids proud in ways everyone could see. But Sarah Carter lived in shadows, had to. It wasn't a choice, it was the job. "Mom," Emma's voice cracked. "Why can't you just tell them, just once?" Sarah reached across the table, took her daughter's hand, her calluses rough against Emma's small fingers. "Because some things are bigger than what people think, sweetheart. Some things we do quietly, not for applause, for purpose." But Emma was 8. And purpose didn't stop the teasing, didn't stop the isolation, didn't stop her from eating lunch alone because nobody wanted to sit with the girl who made up stories. The next morning, Emma woke to find her mom already gone, training or mission prep, or something Emma couldn't know about. A note on the fridge: "Love you, be brave, see you tonight." But brave felt impossible when you walked into school and saw the whispers start again. Emma kept her head down, made it to her classroom. Sat in the back. Mrs. Robertson was writing on the board when the principal's voice crackled over the intercom. "Teachers, we have a special assembly this morning. Please bring your classes to the gym in 10 minutes. Emma's stomach twisted. Assemblies meant crowds. Crowds meant questions. Questions meant more chances to be called a liar. The gym filled fast, hundreds of kids, teachers lining the walls. Principal Hawkins stood at center court with a microphone, and beside him something covered with a large blue tarp. "Good morning, everyone," Principal Hawkins began. "Today we have very special guests. They've traveled here to talk about service, about sacrifice, about what it means to protect others." Emma barely listened. She was too focused on not being seen, on blending into the bleachers, on surviving another day. "Please welcome members of the United States Navy Special Warfare Community." The gym doors opened, and Emma's world stopped. 6 figures walked in, full tactical gear, boots echoing on the hardwood, faces partially covered, moving with precision, with purpose, with absolute authority. The kids went silent. Even the teachers stood straighter, because this wasn't a normal assembly. This was something else, something real. The lead figure stepped forward, removed their helmet. And Emma's heart nearly burst from her chest. It was her mom. Sarah Carter stood there in full SEAL uniform, trident on her chest, eyes scanning the crowd until they found Emma, and then the smallest smile, the kind only Emma would recognize. "My name is Senior Chief Petty Officer Sarah Carter," her mom's voice filled the gym, strong, clear, unshakable. "And I'm here with my unit to talk about a mission we don't usually discuss, but today is different." Emma couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. Around her, kids were whispering. "Wait, that's Emma's mom." "No way. I thought she was lying." Mrs. Robertson stood near the wall, her face pale. The boy who'd called Emma a liar sat 3 rows down, mouth hanging open. Sarah continued. "8 weeks ago, my team was deployed overseas, hostile territory, mission classified, but what I can tell you is this: we were sent to rescue 12 people, 12 lives depending on us, depending on training, on trust, on doing our jobs quietly, without recognition, without applause." Walked slowly across the gym floor, each step deliberate. "Some of you might wonder what a Navy SEAL does. We don't talk about it much. We don't seek attention. We operate in shadows because that's where the work gets done. That's where lives get saved." Emma felt tears building, but not from sadness, from something bigger, something swelling in her chest like a storm breaking. "My daughter, Emma Carter, is in this gym," Sarah said, and every head turned, every single one. Emma wanted to disappear, wanted to hide, but her mom's eyes found hers, held them. "Emma's been telling people about my job, and some of you didn't believe her. That's okay. I don't look like what you expect. I don't talk about my work. I don't wear my uniform to pick up. I blend in. That's intentional." Sarah's voice softened. "But Emma never lied, not once. And the cost of not being believed, that's something she's carried alone, while I was overseas, while I was focused on mission success. My daughter fought her own battle right here in this school." The silence in that gym was deafening. Sarah gestured to her team. "Every person here with me has a family, kids, parents, people who love them, and those families carry the weight of our silence, of our secrecy, of operational security that keeps us and others safe. But sometimes that silence costs them something too, costs them being believed, being trusted, being seen." She turned back to the crowd. "Emma didn't need me to come here today to prove anything. She knew the truth, but I came anyway, because sometimes the people who love us need more than quiet strength. They need to be validated, seen, honored for what they carry while we're gone." Mrs. Robertson's eyes were wet. The principal looked stunned, and the boy who'd tormented Emma looked like he wanted to sink through the floor. Sarah walked to the tarp, pulled it away. Underneath was a display, photos, gear, a timeline of SEAL history. "My team and I are here for the next 2 hours. We'll answer questions, show you our equipment, talk about service, but more importantly, we're here to honor the families who stand behind us, the kids who keep our secrets, the spouses who manage alone, the parents who worry in silence." She locked eyes with Emma again. "Emma, come here." Emma's legs shook as she stood. The walk from the bleachers to the gym floor felt like miles. Every eye on her, every whisper about her. But when she reached her mom, Sarah knelt down, eye level. "I'm sorry I couldn't tell them sooner," Sarah whispered. "I'm sorry you had to fight alone, but you did, and that makes you stronger than you know." Emma collapsed into her mom's arms. The gym erupted in applause, but Emma barely heard it. All she felt was her mom, solid, real, finally visible. The assembly turned into controlled chaos. It swarmed the SEAL team with questions. Teachers stood in awe. The boy who'd called Emma a liar approached slowly, shamefully. "I'm sorry," he mumbled. Emma looked at him, then at her mom. Sarah gave her a small nod. "Apology accepted," Emma said quietly, because her mom had taught her strength, but she'd also taught her grace. Over the next hour, Sarah and her team demonstrated equipment, talked about training, explained the mental discipline required. But they also talked about family, about sacrifice, about the hidden costs of service. Mrs. Robertson approached Sarah afterward. "I'm so sorry. I should have believed her, should have protected her." Sarah's expression didn't change. "You're not the first person to doubt, won't be the last, but now you know. And now you can do better, for Emma, for any other kid carrying their parents' invisible burden." The assembly ended. The SEAL team packed their gear. But before they left, Sarah pulled Emma aside one more time. "You know I can't do this often, right? This was an exception, a necessary one, but most of the time the job stays quiet." Emma nodded. "I know. But that doesn't mean you were wrong to tell people. Truth is truth, even when others don't believe it, even when it's hard to prove. You hold on to truth, Emma, always." Emma squeezed her mom's hand. "Will you get in trouble for this?" Sarah smiled, small but genuine. "I cleared it, took some convincing, but command understood. Sometimes protecting our families means stepping into the light just for a moment." The team left, climbed into unmarked vehicles, drove away as quietly as they'd come. And Emma went back to class, but everything had shifted. Kids looked at her differently now. Not with mockery, with respect, with awe, with apology in their eyes. At lunch, 3 kids asked to sit with her. She said yes. That afternoon, when school ended, Emma walked out to find her mom waiting. Back in regular clothes, jeans, blue t-shirt, hair pulled back, invisible again, but Emma saw her differently now, not as someone hiding, as someone operating with purpose, with mission, with quiet strength that didn't need validation but deserved it anyway. They drove home in comfortable silence. And when they pulled into the driveway, Sarah turned to Emma. "You okay?" Emma thought about it. Really thought. "Yeah," she said finally. "I am, because even when they didn't believe me, I knew the truth. And that was enough, but having them see it, having them know, that was for them, not for me." Sarah's eyes shimmered, pride, pure and unfiltered. "That's my girl." They walked inside together, mother and daughter, warrior and legacy. 2 people carrying different battles, different burdens, but together in truth, in silence, in strength. And that night when Emma crawled into bed, she didn't feel small anymore. Didn't feel invisible. She felt seen, believed, validated, not because everyone finally knew, but because she'd carried the truth when no one else would. And sometimes dignity doesn't speak. It simply acts, it endures, it stands firm when the world demands proof. And when the moment comes, when the light finally breaks through the shadows, dignity doesn't gloat, it simply continues. Quiet, steady, unshakable. Emma fell asleep smiling, her mom's trident patch on the nightstand beside her. A reminder, not of validation, but of truth. The kind that exists whether anyone believes it or not. The kind worth carrying, worth protecting, worth standing for, even when you stand alone.